For falling asleep, Yoga Nidra is usually the easier fit. It is done lying down and deliberately guides you toward the threshold of sleep, while most meditation keeps you upright and alert on purpose. Both calm the nervous system, but Yoga Nidra is built around the edge of sleep, so beginners tend to find it gentler at bedtime. If you have ever tried to meditate your way to sleep and ended up more frustrated than drowsy, there is a reason, and it is not that you are bad at meditating. Most meditation is built to keep you awake. The upright posture, the steady return of attention to the breath, the gentle alertness, all of it is designed to stop you drifting off. So using it as a bedtime tool means fighting the practice's own design. Yoga Nidra is built the other way around. You lie down, you close your eyes, and a voice guides you toward the exact edge of sleep instead of away from it. That single difference in intention is most of what people are really asking about when they ask which is better for sleep. This page lays the two practices side by side. How you hold your body, what you do with your mind, and what each one is actually trying to achieve. Then it gets honest about which suits bedtime, what the evidence says for each, and how to choose. What is the real difference between Yoga Nidra and meditation? The cleanest way to separate them is by four things: posture, technique, mental state, and goal. Posture. Most meditation is done sitting upright, often cross-legged or in a chair with the spine reasonably tall. Yoga Nidra is done lying down on your back in the position yoga calls Shavasana, or corpse pose. That is not a cosmetic detail. Sitting up is partly there to keep you alert. Lying down lets your body settle toward rest. Technique. In seated mindfulness meditation, you actively direct attention, usually to the breath or to body sensations, and you keep gently bringing it back every time it wanders. The work is in the returning. Yoga Nidra hands the structure to a recorded voice. You are led through a fixed sequence, typically a short resolve or intention, a sankalpa, then a systematic rotation of awareness around the body, then breath awareness, then some guided imagery. You are not managing your own attention so much as following along. Mental state. This is the deepest difference. Meditation cultivates an aware, awake state. Yoga Nidra aims at something closer to an aware, near-sleep state, holding you on the hypnagogic threshold where the body is settling towards sleep but the mind stays dimly aware. The Sleep Foundation describes Yoga Nidra as triggering this hypnagogic state, in which brainwaves slow and the body drifts towards sleep while awareness lingers. Goal. Meditation's goal is usually presence, attention, or equanimity, with better sleep as a downstream benefit. Yoga Nidra's goal is deep rest itself, and at bedtime, easing you over the edge into sleep is a perfectly acceptable result. Where did Yoga Nidra come from, and is it really meditation? Yoga Nidra draws on practices that are centuries old, but the systematized modern form most apps and studies use was introduced in the 1960s by Swami Satyananda Saraswati and the Bihar School of Yoga, often called the Satyananda Method. That lineage is why the sequence feels so consistent from one recording to the next. People often file Yoga Nidra under meditation, and that is not wrong exactly. It shares the larger goal of calming the mind. But it is more accurate to call it a structured deep rest practice than seated mindfulness. The posture is different, the technique is different, a guided script versus self-directed attention, and the target state is different. The edge of sleep versus alert awareness. If you keep those three differences in mind, you will not be confused by the overlap. Which one is actually better for sleep? For the specific job of falling asleep, Yoga Nidra is usually the easier fit, mostly because of intention. You are already lying down. You do not have to hold yourself upright or alert, and if you drift off, you have succeeded rather than failed. Seated meditation works against drowsiness on purpose, so using it to fall asleep means using a tool slightly against its grain. But better for sleep splits into two questions, and meditation wins the other one. If the question is which practice has the stronger evidence base for sleep, mindfulness meditation has the longer and deeper track record. In a randomized controlled trial of chronic insomnia, mindfulness-based practices significantly reduced total wake time and lowered pre-sleep arousal compared with a self-monitoring control. Pre-sleep arousal, the racing thoughts and bodily tension that keep people awake, is one of the core engines of insomnia, and meditation has been shown to turn it down in measured terms. Yoga Nidra shows real promise too. A 2025 systematic review of 6 randomized controlled trials concluded that it appears to show promise as a therapeutic intervention for improving sleep, with benefits across groups as varied as people with chronic insomnia, healthcare workers, and athletes. The honest caveat is that those trials are few, small, and carry a moderate to high risk of bias, so it is promising rather than proven. One more piece of honesty matters here for both. Neither practice is a first-line treatment for chronic insomnia. The American Academy of Sleep Medicine's behavioral guideline points to multi-component CBTI as the strongly recommended first option, with relaxation style and mindfulness approaches sitting alongside it as helpful additions rather than replacements. If your sleep problem is persistent, that framing is worth holding on to. Which should you pick? A simple way to decide: your main goal is falling asleep tonight. Start with Yoga Nidra. Lying down, following a voice, and being allowed to drift off removes most of the friction beginners hit when they try to meditate at bedtime. You are brand new to all of this. Yoga Nidra is the gentler entry point. It does not ask you to train your own attention or stay upright. The recording carries the structure for you. You want a broader daily calm and focus practice, not just a sleep aid. Lean towards seated meditation. Its evidence for sleep is strong precisely because it lowers the daytime and pre-sleep arousal that bleeds into your nights, and it builds an attention skill you can use anywhere. You want both, which is what many people land on. Use seated meditation during the day for attention and stress, and Yoga Nidra at night to wind down. They are complementary, not competing. Whichever you choose, the same 2 rules apply. Consistency beats duration, so a short practice you actually do every night beats a long one you skip. And give it more than one attempt, because the benefit for both practices lives in repetition, in slowly teaching a keyed-up nervous system the way back down. This is educational information, not medical advice. If you have an ongoing sleep or mental health problem, it is worth talking to a doctor or sleep specialist rather than relying on any single practice. If you want to feel the difference for yourself, the easiest test is to skip the theory for one night, lie down, and let a short guided Yoga Nidra session carry you toward that edge of sleep. No posture to hold and no attention to manage, just a voice and the structure doing the work. That is the short version. The full sourced article and a free guided session to try tonight are linked in the description. Rest well.